Boom. Is the microphone on? It's on. My guy, I got like phlegm and I'm just congested today. Uh, Dream Warriors, 66. Welcome. How are you? How about we hit that music and lower or raise the volume and get started? Because it's TGI Friday. And I don't know. I want to get into it. All right, so I just got to describe this to you because it's very important. But Dallas is maybe like I would say like 3/3 of him are hanging off of this ledge in his Dallas tower. So Dallas has two cat trees. One is what we call the Dallas Tower. The other one is Dallas Palace, and one is at the window, and the other one is high up on the loft, where he loves hanging out at the Dallas Tower because it's so high. But no, he is like 3/3 hanging off. I'm talking. He's got three limbs. He's got a tail. He's got his body weight. We won't call it fat to make him self conscious, but he's got his body weight, and he's just leaning, staring at amazingly a couple birds that are drinking water from the rooftop across the street. That's my morning view. It's Dream Warrior 66. I screwed up the number last time. I kept calling it episode 65, 64. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. It's Friday. It's 8 a.m., January 19th. And we're getting to a movie I've been alluding to for quite some time. But you know what? I like it. I like when things sit and they kind of marinate because I just think you know, it helps you get perspective, and I think it adds value to the opinions that come in through Dream Warriors because even though like the fun, the reactionary stuff is great, I think thoughtful, meaningful, like reviews and criticisms, knowing how a movie sits in someone is I think it's far more valuable than the engine the beast that must be fed constantly reviewing what's new and what's coming out. Now, Belko Experiment is not new. Just to go through some of the movie is from 2016 and is described on Wikipedia as a American survival horror film directed by Greg McLean, who this is a comment to if excuse me, if you can hone in on one area, like if you understand one genre, and this kind of goes almost like anywhere. If you can narrow focus on one thing, and in this case, one genre or one style of filmmaking, you can have a career. You can do things in this world. It's Greg McLean has directed nothing but like schlock uh, horror movies and monster driven horror movies, like big monster events. Monster events should be a new term that comes out through Dream Warriors. Uh, Monster events are like one of the movies he directed. This movie called Rogue. Giant crocodile. Okay, killer crocodile. Movies like Anaconda, even King Kong. They're like disaster monster movies. They there's deadly as gory as bloody as they are giant ferocious beasts bearing down on you. But we're going to get back into Dream Warriors. Get back into Belko Experiment. Excuse me, real quick because we're playing with formats. We are getting better with and when I say we, it's me because that's all Dream Warriors is right now. Even though there is the potential new blood. I did my due diligence for all of you. Definitely got some new blood, uh, male and female. which is good because I've been wanting a female voice on here for a while, just because chicks are hot. Who doesn't like chicks? But okay, enough chauvinism, which is now an evil word in today's society. You can't be chauvinistic; you're evil. But yeah, so getting into some of the Mark drama. So Mark has not reached out to me since my excommunication. I did I did block his girlfriend. I I've been since Thanksgiving. I've been on a run of kind of like zero tolerance when I see people's intent and see how almost like if I get like a window of what view that they view me. So if I view them as viewing me as a low, like low priority, when there's a little empathy coming into my direction, when there's a little understanding, and when there is no one really meeting me halfway there, which is something I say a lot. And because to me, it crystallizes the thought that look, I might like we have different personalities, we have different traits, we have different tropes. Like we're all trying here, and sometimes you gotta be the bigger person and take that initial step. So I know to take that step, and vice versa. I constantly feel like I'm the one battling to take that step. When to take it, how to take it, and I this kind of goes across the board. So when it comes with Mark, and this is stemming from a female friend of mine, who kind of like I don't want to say like cut into an issue, but because I knew it was there, but definitely exposed a just this practice of mine. And she kind of via text message asked me like, do I find it easy cutting people off? Because she herself is currently right now cut off. Yeah, so I don't know. I've just been lopping heads off everyone. And look, and the point I'm getting at real quick. We're just gonna go back real quick. So around Thanksgiving, so it's like 2 years of me being single. Um, I went through like a reign of just blocking people. Just blocking people, getting rid of people, just trying to clear that mental space. And look, so much of it was not even out of being hurtful. It was just me deciding what was important to what I needed to take steps forward to put things behind me. And this is even casual sex type stuff. Okay, even in those are deadly and toxic. And it sucks. Uh do I like doing it? 100% no. Do I like doing it? No. So going starting with Thanksgiving. So like that this was something like basically cutting the head off of communication with people was something that was like once in a while. And now I just did another round of it. So we're not even like we're going Thanksgiving. We're midway through January. I think this is going to be a regular practice of mine. I think this is how I'm going to start boiling down the important people I have in my life, how I rate those people, how I rate their contributions into what I'm doing, what their intent is, and and vice versa. Like I can do more with some friends and do more with like family and so on and so forth when like I'm less distracted by some of this BS. So like it's like some of it is push and pull. It pulls in one direction, pushes in another. So the reason why we're talking about this is to get into a little bit of the situation with Mark. Look, it's to the point where the somewhat project never really like him and I became friends around the release of the Watchmen movie. He was managing a Toys R Us. A lot of this is detailed in previous episodes. Uh, and like I don't know, like I just remember like he used to call. He used to call like out of the blue at one time, and I was on the stretch of just not being able to pick up, and I remember one time he called me, and I had this stripper uh naked in her bed, like naked in her bed. She also dealt pills on the side, and not knocking having a side business. And I remember he called me one day, and I picked up, and it was just like nonstop comic book talk. And this chick is like, oh my god, it's such a funny night. But anyway, yeah. So, and I think after that, I wound up falling asleep in her bed. So whatever. But I was like on a little bit of a stretch where I wasn't picking up when Mark was calling, and I felt bad. And even then, like again, like we define our lives, we make our own definitions, we define our own best practices. When it comes to what our sticking points are. So everyone on a psychosis level develops, and we get sticking points, and those sticking points are mostly subconscious, and they're wired in us. So when I say best practices, I don't mean what works for me is going to work for you. No, I mean that I'm constantly working on my best practices to remove more and more of my sticking points, and that was one of them. Now it's like, hey, people tell you I pick up the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning. I naked with a girl. I will check my phone if it rings. Um, I is it like a fear of mine? Yeah, because at that point I viewed Mark as such a high valued friend, that him reaching out to call me was kind of like like I didn't want that to go away. So what happened was I became proactive on being available on the phone. Uh, and now like and that was like maybe like the last stretch that Mark would call to check up on me and see what was happening. And years go down the road, and it's something that he just stopped doing. Like, how do you not check up on someone? I don't understand this. And he got this new job, and I was under the impression that he was getting like wasted, getting hammered 9 to 5, and beyond, making these calls, selling these mortgages, signing people up. But like he was having trouble with his girlfriend, like his internal trouble. I knew they were having outdoor trouble, but him internally was like Beirut. It was the fall of Saigon here. Okay, it was Gettysburg. That's like more of a better reference. I should just start saying Gettysburg, and people are like, "Huh?" To college. I'm like, no, you dolt. The most blood shed on American soil ever, and it was Gettysburg on his insides, and it was almost like he wanted to break away, he couldn't, and like couldn't meaning that he just wasn't like man enough to like tell this girl that like that look, like he's in a situation, she has a son, he's got 2 daughters, but it's like this toiling, like he's in a situation that it's a no-win. He immediately regretted that. Okay, like even shocking to me, like forcefully. And so the first round of advice was like, hey, try these to make the relationship better, try these things to even test the relationship, do these things to repair the tear you have with her parents. And like I said, it's deep. It's a whole Oprah episode. But and then the second round was like, hey, and this is all like maybe like 3 or 4 days apart. The second round was like, look, you need to do this to get out. And here's 2 ways to get out. I should really detail this in a separate episode. I thought what I told him was good. Okay. Like good as of effective, even though I laugh at it. But yeah, so like what I mean, like him becoming a project. So at that point, his I think a lot of things changed. So during this time, he just mentioned he would be texting her all day, like texting her like through work, and she's texting him through work. So like during this stretch, sorry, that's John right now texting me. We're arguing about NFL still. NFL downward spiral. SJW NFL dying. He's got an opposite point of view. We're arguing discussion. Well, it never comes up when we're in person. It's only through text message. But yeah, so like through these like last few months, I text Mark at all hours and I don't get any response. Um, like ever since like Thor Ragnarok, which did perturb me because I wanted him to take that over. I wanted him to have a chance to do the show. Um, it's going like gearing up for his first solo episode of Dream Warriors, which was going to be his like Thor history review. And so here's the thing. Like we all grow up with passions. Um, I want to milk the the life out of those passions and turn it into money, turn it into cash, turn it into another career. I've been doing this since I've been about 11 or 12 years old. Okay. It's embedded in my DNA. It's how I think. It's how I operate. It's how I see the world. And I constantly want to pull people into it because look, I look at you. Look, I work a 9 to 5, but I work such a unique 9 to 5, and what my responsibilities are, and all these other things. It's so unique. It's so diverse. It's so scattered. Uh, it's it's almost not a 9 to 5. Okay, so. But I see people out there and they're suffering, and some of these people are my friends, and they're bleeding. Um, so many of them, and I just want to like help them. I always wanted to assist, to not bring them into my world because I kind of view everyone as more intelligent than me, as smarter, as quicker, as having it more together than I. But I feel like if they've had like a little bit of what I have, then they would just whoosh, like accelerate, like blasting off. So that's where like that girl's comment comes from. To where is it tough? Like letting people go? Is it tough? Just kind of like tough love and drawing that line. It always is. It's never easy. Even the girl that kind of said that to me, who I kind of put in the timeout. Like she crossed the line with me early. Second chances. Who doesn't love a sequel? Second chances. And they kind of like reoccurred. I just had this little bit of a thing with this other girl that did that to me, and it didn't feel good. But I fully understand like where that was coming from. Even though a lot of it is unsaid, but I get it. Like and I really get where that decision would come from. And look, it sucks. Being single is not easy. Being single and deciding who's in and who's out is also tough because like mostly you're single and you're always paranoid about kind of being alone. But I'll tell you one thing. Um, since Thanksgiving of 2017, there's been an acceleration of commitments on my end, like me receiving commitments from across the board because of this practice, because I saw what it can do, how it can help me. And but you do it humanely. Like you don't. I fully back blocking people on social media as quickly as possible because social media is a disease. Does more harm than good. If you're selling something, great. If not, and you're not posting, then you're just observing, and you're just you're rewiring your brain in a very harmful way. But so um, getting into that, it's just the social media conundrum and where people lie with it is it's tough. Everyone's on it because they think they have to be on it. Uh, One moment, please. Uh, yeah, Red Bull shout out. Someone bought me 2 cans of Red Bull the other day, and it was a sugar-free purple edition. Akaya Berry. Akaya. It's a purple can, and I thought I hated this one. But it's almost a grape drink, and oh my god, it's so good. I drank one last time, drinking one today. But yeah, so when it comes to social media and excommunication, I just say, look, I said block them from social media, but keep the channel open. Be humane, because people sometimes will see that and they will get the message. And I with this one with girl, but I did with three others, and three of the four reached right out to me when they were blocked, like right away, like yo. Like now you're caring, like now things are important. It's tough. So, all right. So, little high five too. It's the where are we? Where's the timestamp? We're 20 minutes in. We're 20 minutes in. We barely spoke about Balco. So real quick, last episode is the most highest, the quickly downloaded and streamed episode that we've ever had here, and I think it is the somewhat of the beginning of the further analysis of what's happened to the comic book industry, to where the social justice warriors have infected editorial management. They've got into the offices of Marvel Comics, and in all, Marvel Comics has dragged the entire comic book industry down, painfully down, artfully down. Uh, they they're just a bunch of gremlins on the wing of the airplane, and it is just spiraling into a mountain. And it's it's sad. I don't know. Like I slept at the wheel. I didn't even know what was happening. And yeah, a lot of you out there just don't get it. They don't see why it's important. This if this could happen to such a dedicated market in comics, okay, you're a fool not to. It's easy for this to happen in comics. It's going to take longer for Hollywood, the NFL, and who knows what. I mean, I guess the video game industry is next. Okay, this is not the end. It's only going to get worse. And now, if we have a divided populace, our entertainment equally will be divided, and it's going to chaos. It's going to create chaos because I think we're going to have a erosion of institutional knowledge and institutional practice. It's going to break. It's going to fall. So yeah. So when it comes to sitting down, doing a little brain dump, uh, yeah. Oh, and here he comes. Hello, Dallas. What's up? What's up, my little man? You always come over right when I'm talking about this. Yeah? Where you at? He's underneath. I see his tail. Where are you at, buddy? You hungry? Go eat your food. He just stopped eating his favorite food, and this battle, this round to you, Dal. But okay, so further analysis to the social justice warrior Marvel Comics, 100%. Uh, how has this bled? I mean, it seems like it bled to IDW. Uh, it's bled to Image Comics. DC is propping up the entire industry with I view as garbage positioning within their stories, and that's enough. I mean, DC is saving comics, and that spins my head. It should always be Marvel. Marvel is the house of ideas. Marvel is really where the attitude came from the '60s all the way up into 2010, 2012. I mean, we're talking all the way up until recent history. The attitude came from Marvel. DC uh, contrasted Marvel, and they pivoted, and that's how they were able to get their share of the pie. But Marvel always consistent, always had success for good reasons. But okay, enough about all that. Jeez, Dal, He just looks at me constantly like he just wants to be fed. At least that's what I'm projecting. All right. Shout out to more Red Bull because I need to take a sip. Oh my god. Belko Experiment. Amazing. Because it cost $5 million. 2016, $5 million. A bunch of kids got together in 2016 and decided to make a movie with an amazing cast that was well thought out. We got James Gunn. The movie grossed $10 million, so we've doubled our money. Great. I would love I believe a sequel's coming. I would love the follow up to this to stick to its guns. Pun intended. James Gunn guns. Stick to its guns and continue where this movie left off. Okay. Belko Experiment has Belko Experiment has one of the best designed endings for a movie like this that I've ever seen. Where the movie should have gone, it went there. What you wanted to see happened. Now, this goes beyond the killing, because this movie is, I think one of the blurbs was Battle Royale meets The Office. Perfect description. The movie starts with, like, halfway decent nerdy-ish guy realizing something's off. The gates drop in the building, and from that point on, people are trying to figure out what's happening. Heads are exploding. They have to comply to the commands. If they don't, it's Suicide Squad level head pop. Or if you really want to go back, it's Running Man head pop. Come on. Shout out to Schwarzenegger if you're listening. Okay. So, and then it's who's going to, what alliances will emerge, who lives and who dies, who takes the leadership role, and who's the underdog. These are perfect storytelling elements, perfectly illustrated. And when I say the perfect storytelling elements, I mean, if you're going to tell a story like this, these are the elements you lay out. You just these are some of your post-its you put up on the wall. What's happening with Belko when we look at the reviews online? Not enough praise. Some appreciation, but not enough praise. Why is this? Well, I don't know. Because criticism has taken it's a turd that is flushed. One time that turd was in the toilet, but that turd's not there now. It's gone, and there's a couple nuggets floating. So I'm not really concerned with that. I'm concerned in getting you to see this movie. I'm concerned with getting you to hit the social media and go YOLO, reminding people that this movie just feels like it just came out. Okay, and I'm talking about like it's from the 80s or later. But the reason why this is important, and I really don't want to spoil how it wraps up, is because a lot like The Invitation, one of the 31 Days of Dread movies, The Invitation ended on a note that invited a sequel that took that thread, and we saw what was next. This does the same thing. Belko Experiment has a mythology to it. There's a lore to this movie, and it's only kind of illustrated in maybe 2 or 3 scenes, and they're quick scenes. So to get this bigger thing, this bigger idea that's happening, like worldwide, across the globe, I mean, it's important. It's important to back movies like this because it's a $5 million movie, and it's strictly built on the idea that like the movie itself is built on this idea and the execution of it. So it's money well spent when it's that well executed and laid out. So, I mean, I wish I could say more. I mean, look, James Gunn, Guardians of the Galaxies. Like this is a script. That This movie's one that he supposedly handpicked. Our director, Greg McLean. Do you guys need to know who James Gunn is? He came up through Troma, Toxic Avenger Company, Tromeo and Juliet. Wrote the sequel to Scooby Doo. I'm just zipping through some of his Wikipedia. But as director, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Volume 2, he Super, which is enormously underrated vigilante superhero movie. And Slither, amazing movies he wrote. I mean, like this guy writes movies. Tromeo and Juliet, Tromaville Cafe, Scooby Doo, Dawn of the Dead, Scooby Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. He wrote his own Slither. He wrote Super. He wrote Guardians of the Galaxy. He wrote Guardians 2. He wrote Belko. I mean, what else do you want? The year 2000, Citizen Toxie, the Toxic Avenger 4. He has a role as Dr. Flem Hawking. I need to rewatch that. But okay. So what are we doing here? I want to talk about this movie. I don't really want to. Otherwise, this is one of the most perfect wrap-ups, endings for a movie I've seen in a long time. It's worth watching just again for those final moments. And then what happens after, because there's a zinger right after that. That is the real expanding of the mythology. And yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, if you're into lean storytelling and executing ideas, Belko Experiment is it. It's as good with that as Big Trouble in Little China, Escape from New York, a lot of the early Carpenter stuff, Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween. It's as good as all of that. And I don't know. Check it out. I promise to talk about more personal drama on the next Dream Warriors and describe more Dallas to you. But look, it's Friday, people. People, it's Friday. Are you ready? Are you ready for the weekend? The only thing I want to do today is buy Fireball. What the fuck? Okay, I gotta go. Have a good day. Dallas says goodbye. Enjoy the weekend. And just promise me, do something creative. Buy it, go to Five Below. Go to a dollar store. Buy cheap pencils or markers and buy a blank book. It can be ruled. It doesn't matter. Like any journal or sketchbook, and just start writing. Start writing ideas. And check me out on YouTube, because I'm doing more of that stuff on YouTube, Instagram, AKAPAD13. Subscribe, comment, support, promote. Help me help you. Because I want to just do more of this. Have a good day, people. Signing off.